I'm back. I'm actually doing really well with these weekly YouTube videos. I mean, we're 3 weeks in, so we'll see how I get on. But this week I thought I would do something a little bit different. So I don't know, I think it was last week or the week before, I put a little question box up on my Instagram story and basically said that it was for YouTube. So I've got a few questions and I'm going to do a bit of a Q&A, but I'm not just going to sit here and be like, next question, next question, next question, because I just think it's very boring. So I'm going to also take you through a little bit of what I'm doing today, which to be honest isn't really much. We've got a really, really quiet weekend. This week in summary has just been super, super busy. I have onboarded 2 new women to the team, one who is actually 18 weeks pregnant and she just wants to work on her health, work on her routine. She's actually pregnant with her 3rd child. So I was really inspired by that actually. I said to her, like, I love the fact that you are taking this opportunity to actually still focus on you, because I think people, like, obviously I don't have kids of my own, so I can't relate, but I think a lot of people will just sort of let themselves go and use pregnancy as an excuse. A lot of the time, like, you hear women say, oh, I'm eating for 2, or, oh, well, I don't really care what I look like right now because I'm growing a baby anyway, when realistically, you're feeding that baby, right? So you're doing it for you, but you're also doing it for your baby's health as well. It's not just about how you look, it's about what you're putting in your body and what that's then doing to you and your baby. So I absolutely love that for her. And I think if we can absolutely nail this routine down pre-pregnancy or pre-baby, then she's going to be in a really, really good position to then just sort of push on once the baby is here, and then we can really start to focus on fat loss, which is her ultimate goal. But if we can nail down the routine beforehand, then yeah, it's going to be a dream. And then the other woman who has started to work with me, she came to me because she's just turned 40 this year and she spent years and years and years of her life yo-yo dieting, losing the weight, gaining it back, and that is literally our forte. We always say we want to be the last diet, the last coach, the last investment that somebody has to do to lose the weight, because our phases literally are change, transform, maintain. And the maintain one is the one thing that all of our clients say, this is what's been a game changer for me, because we actually focus on food freedom, flexibility, not just following a plan for the rest of your life or tracking your calories for the rest of your life, because that's not fun and games, is it? Like, it's very tedious. So we want to get every client to a position where they no longer need us, and we literally say, you don't need us anymore. Goodbye. You'll be absolutely fine on your own. We were also down a gym on Thursday with a videographer. So we've been filming a completely new exercise library. We recently moved over to a new app, probably about 4 to 6 weeks ago. And we just wanted to revamp everything. We wanted to be all completely fresh. So we had an exercise library, but it was just recorded on our iPhones when we first started the business. So we wanted to do them properly, professionally, and make them look really good. So yeah, we got all that filmed on Thursday. So hopefully over the next few weeks, we will have that in motion for our clients. So I'm really looking forward to that. Plan for today isn't a lot really. It's 7:30. It's Saturday the 25th of April. And I've just got up, took the bed sheets off, put them in the wash, just replied to a few client messages this morning, and we're just going to head off to Starbucks soon, get a coffee, go for a walk. The sun's shining, which is good. And yeah, we don't really have an awful lot on, so I thought this was the perfect opportunity to answer a few questions as I go through the day. We're also tonight making a bit of a takeaway, so I think we found this little recipe on Instagram. It's like chicken burgers with tortillas, like nachos in them, sort of thing, like a chicken crunch burger. We're going to do some fries just in the air fryer, and then I might potentially make some like healthy cookies that we've found. James found a recipe again on Instagram, and they were made with cottage cheese, so I don't know how I feel about that, but we might as well give them a try. It's a bit strange for me because obviously I'm working with a coach again, and I've very much got into the whole off-plan meal mindset, because the last 3 coaches that I've worked with over the years, I've always followed a meal plan. So if I've ever had anything like this, it's been classed as an off-plan meal, whereas now the approach is just flexible dieting. So I'm obviously backtracking, and I can make things like this fit into my calories. Like, I'm eating 1850 calories. It's not like dust just yet. So like you can make things like that fit into your day very, very easily as long as you plan ahead, which I will do. So it's taken me a little while to get used to that because I'm constantly in my head of thinking, right, I'm having an off-plan meal tonight. Well, you're not. You're having chicken, you're having fries, you're making some healthy cookies, you're going to put some salad in there. Like, you're just having a balanced meal. It just looks a little bit different to what you normally eat. So yeah, still getting used to that, but I will hopefully, as long as everything goes to plan, be able to show you what that looks like later. But yeah, I'll take you through this, answer some questions as I go, and I'll see you in the next clip. Just been to Starbucks for the first time in forever. I just got an Americano, sugar-free vanilla, and a splash of oat milk. Sorry, my hands are shaking. Normally, my go-to is a cappuccino. So I will get oat milk cappuccino, sugar-free vanilla. And obviously, since I've started tracking, not that I've just realised this, but a cappuccino is like 160 calories. Whereas if you get an Americano, literally with just a splash of oat milk, it's about 30 calories. So the difference is just ridiculous. And I think when you're counting calories and you're trying to be mindful, and obviously like myself, I'm currently doing a cut, it just seems pointless to spend that amount of calories on a frothy coffee, which is essentially all it is. So that's what I got. We're just off to go for a little walk now. James is somewhere over there putting petrol in. And then yeah, we're just going to crack on with our day. There he is.
I need 3p.
He needed 3 pence to pay for the petrol. So yeah, just got to go back, like I say, go for a little walk, have some breakfast, crack on with our day, and then I will actually get stuck into this Q&A because I've got quite a lot of messages to get through, but to be fair, I think I'm literally just going to pick my favourite 10, maybe. And then yeah. Right, so I've made a note of some questions that have come through Instagram. I'm not going to be able to go through all of them, so like I say, I am just going to pick and choose some ones that, one, I tend to get asked quite a lot, and two, are actually quite interesting, in my opinion. So the first one is actually a question that I get asked all the time. Well, we get asked, really. So obviously me and James, we are together. We live together, we work together, we go to the gym together. Like, if I'm somewhere, he is likely with me. We do absolutely everything together. And people always say, do you not get sick of each other? Do you not want to kill each other? Do you not argue all the time? Do you not fall out? And do you know what it is? We just don't. It just works. And obviously working with a partner is not for everybody, and I appreciate that. But it just works for us. Like, we've both had a passion for this since we got together. Neither of us did this job when we first got together, so we've sort of grew into it. As a couple, we've pushed each other, we've supported each other, so it's just sort of worked. Now, the only downside really is that it is our entire personalities. So if we go for date night, if we go for a walk, if we go for a coffee, it's something that I've recently been noticing, but work consumes us. Like, we talk about work all day, every day. Even if we say to ourselves, right, we're going out tonight, we want to switch off. Sometimes we'll go out for food and we just won't take our phones with us, and we will just fully try and switch off. But for some reason, something always just ends up coming in a topic. And do you know what it is? Like, you can argue that, yeah, do you know what? You're passionate about it. It's completely normal. So when you're passionate about something, you obviously want to talk about it. But it is our entire personalities. And sometimes I do worry, if we didn't have this in common, what on earth would we talk about? Obviously, I'm being dramatic there, but it is true. Like, it does consume us. So we are working on that. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, no, we don't really fall out. There is some things where, like, we will disagree a little bit. Like, or he says, like, I would do it this way, and I'm like, I would do it that way. But at the end of the day, he has his client, I have my client. We are just one big community. So as much as we do like to work the same way, we have our differences, but that's what makes us us, and that's what gives us our different personalities and stuff. So people buy into the coach, and obviously that's both of us together. But yeah, we do have differences, of course. We do things we do things differently as well, but in the grand scheme of things, we get on pretty well. And if we didn't, I don't think it would have lasted as long as it has done. So yeah, I'm just excited. Like, we're really happy. Like, we bring out the best in each other without getting too soppy, because I'm not a soppy person. But no, like, we're really happy, and we're excited for the future and what's to come. So to answer the question, no, we don't really fall out, but we know it's not for everybody to literally do everything with their partner. Like, we spend pretty much 24 hours a day together, to the point where, like, if I'm out for a full day, or if he goes somewhere or whatever, like, I'm like, oh, I feel a bit lost. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a good thing in my eyes for now. This then brings me on to what made me want to be an online coach. Two people have asked this. What made you want to be an online coach, or how did you get into coaching? So for me, this all sort of evolved during lockdown, and I think lockdown was a blessing in disguise for a lot of people. For some, maybe not so much. It ended up being like eating and drinking every single night because people had nothing else to do. But for myself, I still worked. I had a 9-to-5 job. I was able to work remotely, so I took all of my stuff home and I was still working 9-to-5. But obviously when you're at home, you've got that little bit more flexibility, haven't you? And I had like any spare time that I did have. Obviously you're not going out, you're not socialising, you're not really doing an awful lot. So I took that upon myself to invest in doing something like a course. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to do a personal training course. So I did. And I spent all hours of the day doing that. I learned a lot. Obviously, I did my own sort of, I worked on my own education, I worked on my own knowledge, I did loads of research, I was looking up things to how to help people. And the reason I think I wanted to do this, the thing that pushed me into doing this, is because not growing up I would say, but like probably 8 years ago, I would always, like, I've always been into the gym pretty much my whole life, although for the first half of it I had no idea what I was doing. I've always wanted to like do stuff, whether it's go to the gym, be fit, be healthy, eat well. And that for me, like, that made people around me, like friends, family, colleagues, like, they would always ask me questions like, oh, can you help me make a plan for the gym? Or what type of things are high in protein? And I would just get these questions all the time. And I think it took me quite a few years, to be honest, to realise that, oh, I've actually built up quite a lot of knowledge just from my own experience. And I could probably charge for this. So yeah, COVID came around. I took that opportunity to just learn more and actually get some proper official qualifications. And then I decided to literally launch an online coaching business. I invested, I think it was £550 at the time per month for my first ever online coaching business mentor, because I genuinely didn't have a clue where to start. And if I can recommend to anybody who runs a business, invested in yourself is the most important thing. I've probably invested 50,000 plus in myself since starting this, which is absolutely mental. But it's so worth it. So worth it. And I wouldn't be here where I am now without that investment. So yeah, always invest in yourself. Cannot stress that enough. Nobody on the earth knows everything, and there's always people that you can learn from. So as long as you continue progressing your knowledge, your experience, what you know, what you can apply to your clients, etc., the more you're going to grow. Simple as that. So yeah, anyways, that's where I was, and I just I took on a few like friends as for free, just to get some sort of transformations, obviously put my work into action and make sure that I was actually good at it. And of course, nobody's good at the job the first year, the first few months. It's all a learning curve, but yeah, the rest is history, and I'm now 4 years deep. Obviously took James on with me 2 years ago. I'd sort of hit capacity with the amount of people that I could take on. He actually got made redundant from his job of 10 years. And it all just fell really, really nicely and in good timing. And we were like, this is happening for a reason. And we've genuinely never looked back. So yeah, really happy with the position that we're in right now. We've built a really good community of clients. Obviously, James is working with predominantly men, and I'm working with the women. So yeah, we're in a good position there, and yeah, never looked back. Obviously, yes, it can be hard, just like any job. There's parts of the job that I maybe don't like as much as other parts of the job, but being able to help people and being able to get people to a position where, like, they say to me, Sam, you've changed my life, and they're not even aware of the person that they've become, and they didn't even think that what they'd achieved would be achievable when they first joined, and just all of that is so rewarding. And yeah, I count my lucky stars every day to be able to do that as a whole job and get paid for it, to make people feel that way. Right, so in November, I decided to hire a mindset coach. And the reason being, because you may or may not know this already, but The way you speak to yourself is absolutely everything. And I say this to clients who are trying to lose weight. These type of clients have probably been speaking negatively about themselves every single day for as long as they can remember. Every time they look in the mirror, they're picking themselves apart. They can't take compliments. Like, all of that just stems from how you talk to yourself. And that can apply to absolutely everything in life. The type of person you are, the way you react to things, the way you apply yourself to jobs, the way you go to the gym or maybe don't go to the gym. Like, all of these things just stem from what's going on up here. And this is why mindset for us is such a big thing in what we do with our clients and our coaching, because if you don't change your mindset, if you don't work on that, you're going to struggle for the rest of your life, because a number can drop on the scales and that's not going to change the way you talk to yourself unless you work on that. Just because you are 20 kilos lighter on the scales than what you were 2-3 years ago, you will still look at yourself in the mirror and pick yourself apart unless you work on it. So I wanted to work on myself because I knew deep down there was a few things that were going on in my head that I just couldn't get out of. People pleasing was one. A few other things around that area as well. Like, for example, posting content for years. Obviously, I've posted pretty much every single day for the last 4 or 5 years on my social media. And what I found for the majority of that time is that I was constantly showing up as somebody that I thought everyone wanted to see. I didn't dare say what I really felt about things. I wasn't deeply opinionated. I never ever shared exactly what it was that was going on in my head, because I thought I would get judged. I thought that people wouldn't like me. I thought that I would get a load of abuse. And do you know what it is? You can't get away from shitty comments on on social media. You just cannot avoid them. No matter what you do, there is always going to be someone out there judging you, whether you're doing something good, whether you're not, whatever. There will always be some little keyboard warrior, 9 times out of 10, with no profile picture, and they'll be called user 769 or something like that. So just don't let people like that worry you. And do you know what it is? Since working on that, so this mindset coach that I've been working with, the way she does things is through NLP, which basically is a form of essentially reprogramming your mind and how it works. So that sounds quite deep, and to be honest, it is. Like, I was blown away the first few sessions that I had, because you basically overcoming those fears, overcoming those beliefs about yourself. And I've worked on so many limiting beliefs and fears. Fear of like losing money if I need to invest in something, or if I want to, I don't know, purchase something that I know is going to benefit my business, but then I'm like, oh, but what if I don't make the money back? That money mindset is something that I've had to work on. And again, obviously, that might not be a fear as much. Like, if somebody says to me, oh, but you've spent all that money on investing in yourself, like, you clearly aren't that bothered about money. But honestly, I probably would have made those decisions a lot quicker if I had worked on this earlier. Obviously, investing in a mindset coach, that is expensive, but at the end of the day, I am now in a position where I'm showing up as the best version of myself. I'm attracting the client that I actually want to work with, the client that wants to work with me, and I am in such a better position now than I was, say, 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago. And I guess I will never know if I would be in this position now without that mindset coach, but I don't think I would be, because I am now able to show up as somebody who is confident. I'm able to speak more of what I believe in and what I think about things. I'm able to be more honest. I'm no longer caring about whether somebody disagrees with me or not, whether I'm being judged. And people pleasing is now an old version of me. I want to show up as somebody who strongly stands by what they believe in, and I want to attract the right people as a result of that. So by working on these things, it's incredible how much it can apply to your day-to-day life. Even just to the point where if I get a negative thought, I am now able to control and push that away and be like, no, I'm going to look at the positives of this. And I say this to clients all the time. Like last night, for example, I had 3,000 steps to do. James had been out for a walk with his friends, so he'd done his steps. So I was like, right, I'm going to have to go out on my own. Can't be bothered. It was like 7:45 last night. And I just thought, do you know what? I can't be bothered to do this, but the sun's shining for the first time properly this year. And I am so grateful for that. Something is only hard if you tell yourself that story. Like, that's where the all or nothing mindset comes in for a lot of people. Like, oh, well, I forgot my lunch today at work. I'm going to have to eat out. That's my whole day ruined. It's not though, is it? That's what you're telling yourself. That's the story you're telling yourself. So this is what working on your mindset can do. So yes, to answer, it is expensive, but realistically, I've probably earned that money back and more because I've invested in myself and because I've completely rewired the way my thought process is. And yeah, I'm just a better person as a result of that. So it's really exciting because it's only been 5 months since November, 5-6 months, and I'm a completely different person. So that excites me because I'm like, if I can be in this position now, what position am I going to be in 6 years' time when I've been able to apply it for a lot longer and change my future as a result of that? It's just incredible. Right, I'm going to do one more. 3 people have asked why I've hired a coach. I have this conversation quite a lot with people because people will often say to me, oh, you're a coach, like, surely you know what you're doing, why would you hire a coach? And people completely undervalue accountability. Accountability is game changing. And this is why there is so many of you who might be listening to this now who are constantly like, I know what to do, I just need to do it. And it's like, right, okay, well, you've been saying that for 3, 4, 5, 6+ years. So why haven't you done it? And 9 times out of 10, just having somebody there to hold you accountable, to support you, guide you through a process, it is game changing. So that's why, really, for me. But a bigger picture is that I actually think I said this in the last video that I did. Lee, the coach who I have hired, he has so much knowledge on biomechanics, on female anatomy, on how the body works, and why certain guidance with a random exercise, for example, might work for one person but not the other. Like limb lengths obviously comes into consideration. Like if you've got a shorter torso and longer legs, or vice versa. Like me and my client Jamie went to train a few weeks ago. I've got really long legs and a short torso, where she's the opposite. She's got quite short legs and a longer torso. So when we were doing conventional deadlifts, she was lifting a lot closer to the ground, whereas I was having to come up quite far. And you can see a difference there in how you bend down to pick up the bar, what that looks like when you pick it up, and things like that just really, really interest me. So I didn't want to just hire another coach just to like go through the motions again, because yeah, really, I do know how to do that myself, and I've done that for the last 2 years. I haven't worked with a coach since I stepped on stage. So I wanted something where I thought, right, I want to be able to learn. I want to learn stuff that I can then apply to my own journey, my own physique, but that I can also apply to clients in the future as well, both current and future clients. So this is now why I've hired a coach, because I wanted to improve my own education and learn more. Because like I said earlier, there's always stuff that you can be learning. So that's ultimately why I've hired a coach, because I thought, right, I want something new to focus on. I am that type of person who 9 times out of 10 needs a focus. Obviously, this is why I'm in the job that I'm in. I think it's important to lead from the front, and I think it's important to share that journey with my clients as well, that actually I can do as I'm told and I can follow a plan, and if I can do it, anybody can do it, sort of thing. It's just a case of understanding your own lifestyle, your routine, your schedule, and working around that and making it fit. And that's obviously what a coach is there for, to help you with that. So yeah, I'm going to leave things there. Obviously there is a lot more questions that I am going to go through, but I won't bore you with just sitting here for the next however long. I am going to split this video up. So yeah, I will catch you very soon. Right, I'm getting my chef on. So I've just blended 150 grams of cottage cheese. I'm really sceptical about these cookies, but no harm in trying, is there? So I've blended that. I need to melt 60 grams of butter. So I'm literally going to just do that in a cup. Right, there we go. I also need to separate an egg, because I need an egg yolk, which I'm also not amazing at. Wish me luck. Oh, that was actually impressive for me. Right, I now need to mix the butter, honey, egg yolk and some vanilla together. $80 grams of dark chocolate, and then I'm going to add some pecan nuts in right at the end when they're done, because I'm a bit concerned that if I put them in before I cook them, they might toast a little bit, which won't be very nice. So We have our cookie dough. Feeling a little bit sceptical because that is quite a wet mixture for cookies, but we'll see. Trying something new. You never know unless you try. So I'll show you what they look like when they come out of the oven. Hopefully they're not an absolute mess. Right, I'm taking you on a little walk with me because I've got a 12,000 step goal and I've done 4,000 and it's like 1:15, so I need to get myself into gear. So I'm going to answer a few more questions. The first question is, have I ever personally struggled with food, or have I managed to stay in shape all my life? So my personal struggles growing up was the weekends, and that's something that I find that most people struggle with now when it comes to staying in check with diet, with going to the gym, with routine in general, really. I think that stems from having Monday to Friday 9-to-5 jobs. It's like everybody counts down to Friday to switch off, to have a bit of social time, to go out for food, etc, etc. And that then comes into play with literally everything in life. So for me, I genuinely used to live for the weekends. Every single week I would go out on a Friday, on a Saturday, I would binge drink, I would then binge eat as a result of that. So for me, even though I continued going to the gym and I ate well Monday to Friday, Saturdays and Sundays were just absolutely write-offs. So although I was doing all of the right things, or I thought I was most of the time, I wasn't really getting any results. My body wasn't changing. It's a lot windier than I thought it was, so I hope this sounds all right. So yeah, as a result of that, I was sort of putting in the work most of the time and just not getting a result from it because I was just undoing everything every single weekend. And I find that most people struggle with that today. So although I was never massively overweight, because I always struggled with being really skinny when I was younger, so I always was very skinny fat is the term that gets thrown around these days. I didn't really have much of a body. Like, my friends all started to fit into adult clothes and they all started to have curves and boobs and a bum, and I was very much just straight up and down. So that's why I think the gym's helped me a lot, because it's changed that for me. But yeah, for me it's the weekends. Obviously I'm not like that now. I've discovered a good routine. Don't really drink much these days. I'll go out maybe 2-3 times a year, celebrate a friend's birthday or whatever that might be. But for me, my routine is in check still every single weekend. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy some nice food. I still enjoy going out for a meal. I've been out for a meal this week. Obviously me and James are having a little takeaway tonight. It's not a case of I'm just a robot and I don't do anything that I enjoy anymore. I just don't absolutely abuse my body every weekend like I used to. I've swapped arms and I'm off the main road. This next question might not be relatable for a lot of people, but if you've followed me for any length of time, you will know that I competed in a bodybuilding show as a bikini athlete in 2023, I think it was. So somebody's asked, have I got any tips for a beginner bikini athlete getting on stage for the first time? And obviously I'm not experienced. Like, I literally did one season, really took to it very well, but for me afterwards my body suffered an awful lot. I had really bad acne, my hair was falling out, my body just was not responsive anymore. I felt horrendous, I looked horrendous. So that's my experience. I'm not saying that everybody's experience is like that, but like, that's my personal experience, and that's why I won't do it again. But for me, the biggest thing, and I cannot stress this enough, is pausing. Pausing is bloody hard. And if you haven't already started practicing, or you've got a pausing coach, if you haven't got any of that sorted, do it as early as possible. There is no early enough time really to start that, because you literally need to get your routine nailed. You can have the best physique in the world, but if you cannot present that on stage, you will get pointed down for that, unfortunately. So yeah, make sure that you are getting your posing routine and everything in that regard nailed down to a T. Next question is all about food. Somebody said, I get so stressed and overwhelmed around food, can you help? So I'm assuming this means like, where do I even start? Because I think a lot of people feel like that, like they don't have a clue where to start when they want to start to lose weight or start to improve their nutrition, whatever that looks like. It's always a case of, where do I even start? So for me, regardless of your goal, you want to make sure that your protein's nailed down. And I think focus on one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. So if you can get your protein nailed down, you can then make sure that everything else follows. So what I would suggest is find out your protein target first of all. In my bio, I have a macro calculator that anybody can use. Something just fell on my head and I don't know what it is. Yeah, I've got a macro calculator that you can use. So if you need that, let me know, but it is in my bio. Find that out. And then what I want you to do is create your meals around that protein target. So for example, you have a target of 120 grams per day. You like to have 3 meals a day, let's say. So what you want to do is divide that 120 by your 3 meals. So what that basically means is you need to have 40 grams of protein in breakfast, dinner, tea, breakfast, lunch, dinner, however you say it. And it's as simple as that. So you could be like, right, from there, I'm going to choose my 3 protein sources. So you might be like, right, I don't know, eggs for breakfast, chicken for lunch, mince for tea, right? So you want to make sure that to get 40 grams of protein from eggs, it's going to be quite difficult. So you might need to also use egg whites. That's something that I do. So you might use, I don't know, 2 eggs and 150, 200 millilitres of egg whites. Sorted. Then moving on to lunch, you might want 150 grams of raw weight chicken. Obviously make sure you cook that. And then for your evening meal, you might want 150 grams of beef mince. There's your 3 protein sources sorted for the day. You know for a fact you're hitting your protein. And when your goal is fat loss, your main focus wants to be your calories and your protein. I think people start to incorporate like hitting the carbs, hitting the fats. Honestly, if your goal is fat loss, the only thing you need to worry about, especially in the early days, is your calories and your protein. So if you can get that sorted, you know your protein target, you've got your 3 meals sorted for the day, you know your calorie target. Now you just need to incorporate some carbohydrates like some pasta, rice, potatoes. You can incorporate some fruit and vegetables to those meals, some healthy fats across the day like your avocado, peanut butter, extra virgin olive oil, dark chocolate, coconut oil. There's loads of things that you can incorporate there, and that's your base. So that would be my recommendation. Just start off small, don't overwhelm yourself. Main focus wants to be protein and calories, and then the rest will come. But don't start stressing about carbs and fats, especially if your goal is fat loss so early on, because it's just not necessary and you will lose weight regardless. I keep having to put my arm down every time I finish a question because 1, I need to check the rest of my questions, and 2, my arm is killing, like holding my phone up like this. But next question, well, not really a question, sort of is. Somebody had said, you're smashing it with your content, posting every day. How do you manage to keep it up? Now, the thing is with this is like any job. It's like saying, how do you keep up checking your emails every time you go into work or whatever it is that you do? Like you just have to do it. It's just part of the job. And I think that's the way I see it. Like it's a non-negotiable in my eyes. I show up on social media because that's where I get most new clients. That's where people follow me. That's where people are interested in what I'm doing and what my day-to-day job looks like and how I can help them. So for every day that I don't show up, I'm risking potentially not helping more people. So like I say, for me, it's a non-negotiable. There is no conversation around it. Is there times where I can't stand social media and I wish I could just close it down and never have to look at it again? Yes, but that wouldn't get me and my business anywhere. So that's where I'm at with it. Basically, it's a non-negotiable and you've just got to show up every day, not just for you, but for your future as well. And just plan. Like if you find social media overwhelming, make sure you've got a plan every single week. If you need to show up on there and that's going to benefit you, make sure that you have a plan every single week. Because I used to do it. I would sit down on a Wednesday every week and I'd be like, right, what am I going to post about this week? And I'd just have no inspiration whatsoever. Whereas for me, most of my ideas for content will come to me, say when I'm doing check-ins and I'm helping a client out with a struggle, or even just like when I'm out and about on a walk, or if I'm in the shower, or if I'm having a conversation with a client, that's when I'll have those little sparks, ideas. So I'll just make little notes in my phone every week, all week, every week. And then when I do sit down to plan content for the next week, I'll have a big bunch of ideas there that I can then elaborate from. So yeah, my one piece of advice for content creation is plan as much as you can. Do you know one thing that I just thought about there as well? Obviously, I was talking about all the mindset stuff earlier. And as I was walking around there, obviously I was walking around with my hand like this, recording myself and talking. And I walked past so many people and I just didn't give a shit. Like 2-3 years ago, if I wanted to record a story where I was talking to my phone and someone was walking towards me, immediately I would put my phone away and be like, but who even cares? Like, it's not that deep. And this is something else that I've been able to work on doing the mindset work, because the version of me a year, 2 years ago wouldn't have dreamt of doing something like that in public, let alone walking down the street past somebody and quite openly talking to my phone. I'd always think about like, oh, who does she think I am? Or like, that's what I would think that she was thinking, like, who does she think she is? But genuinely nobody cares. Like, if I see something a bit strange in the street, or at the gym, or in the supermarket, anywhere, yeah, do you know what? I might think in a moment, oh, I wonder what's going on there. But I don't let it affect the rest of my day. Like, I'll just forget about it 5 minutes later. And that's exactly what other people do. Everybody else is far too self-absorbed. Like, they're too bothered about themselves to care that much about what you're doing or what everybody else is doing. So that's how I now think. Like, genuinely, nobody cares. It's really not that deep. Well, it is almost 4 o'clock now, so I'm just going to get chilled out for pretty much the rest of the day. I have officially done 10k steps, so I will go out and do an extra 2,000 probably after I've had my food, because me and James like to go for a little digestion walk after we've eaten, so I'll probably do that later. But I just wanted to get myself all chilled out for the night, obviously aside from making our food, so I thought I'll do this now and then I'll just piece it together later. So yeah, this is me signing out for the day. Obviously I'll show you all the food, what we have, our little takeaway, and then we'll see how the cookies turn out as well. Fingers crossed for that, and I'll see you in the next video.